My neighbor's son is peeping at me and I don't know what to do. Okay, so this is a weird one. This is less of a rant and more of an, oh my god, what do I do situation. I'm feeling awkward and conflicted, not necessarily scared, and I need advice on how to navigate this without destroying a great relationship. This is something I'd never imagined that I'd be posting about, but the situation is getting a little too weird to ignore, and I need some outside perspective. My husband, 44 male, and I, 36 female, have a really great relationship with our neighbors, a single mum, Debbie, and her son, Tommy. Not their real names. We moved in next door when Tommy was 11, and since we don't have kids of our own, we kind of took him under our wing. He started doing chores for us for extra cash, which eventually included learning how to maintain our pool in exchange for being able to use it whenever he wants. My husband also built a home gym, and when Tommy started high school and joined the wrestling team, my husband became his coach and personal trainer. They are basically family. Tommy genuinely looks up to my husband as a father figure, and he spends a ton of time at our house, has his own code to the door and side gate, and just lets himself in and out to do our chores or to use our gym/pool. We love having him around. Here is the awkward part. I love to sunbathe in our backyard. Tommy's bedroom window has a direct view of our yard and pool deck. To be honest, I never ever thought anything of it. He's this sweet kid from next door, but about 2 months ago, I was laying out and thought that I saw some movement in his curtains. I brushed it off, thinking that it was his fan rustling the curtains or something. The next time I was out, I saw it again, but I still couldn't be sure. This kinda went on all summer. I'd catch glimpses of movement, but nothing I could definitely say was him watching me. The weather was gloomy for the last few days, so I wasn't out much. Then last Saturday, when my husband was out, I was home alone napping in my bedroom. I heard the side gate open and figured that it was Tommy coming to do his chores. When I woke up from my nap, my bedroom door, which I always keep closed, was cracked open. My husband wasn't home, so it wasn't him. It was unsettling, but I tried to tell myself there could be a reason. This past weekend was the confirmation. I was gardening in the backyard and noticed the movement from his window again. This time I pretended not to see it and just watched out of the corner of my eye. I could clearly see his shadow in the window, and I could see him moving in a rhythmic way. He stayed there the entire time I was outside and only moved away after I went back in the house. Look, I get it. He's 16, hormones are raging. I'm a 36-year-old woman in a bikini in his direct line of sight, I have large breasts, and I'm not ugly. I'm pretty sure he's not just peeping, but probably also taking care of business while he's at it, if you know what I mean. Honestly, I'm not scared or even that mad, it's just incredibly awkward. This kid is like a son to us. The cracked bedroom door is the part that really crosses a line for me, but I have no proof that he did anything more than peek in. I haven't said anything to my husband or his mum. I've thought about it, but I don't want to blow up this kid's life or our relationship with our neighbors over what might just be dumb teenager stuff, but I also feel like I can't just ignore it. What do I even do here? In the comments, this is actually a tough one. I'd say maybe just immediately look at him with a kind of what the hell look on your face, and he'll stop, then just never speak of it. I think this is the way to go. Humiliation is a powerful motivator, particularly to teenagers. OP says, I don't want to embarrass him, but I do want him to understand boundaries. Well then, I think that's the only way to accomplish that with minimal embarrassment. Talking to him or mum is going to be infinitely more humiliating and might change your guys' relationships. Yeah, that's a tricky predicament. You acknowledge correctly that he's a horny teen while expressing that you like to enjoy certain activities in your own space in the attire that you desire, so the best you can do is talk to him about it. Either he changes or he doesn't, and then you need to assess what to do from there. OP replies, my biggest fear is pushing him away. Like I said, he's like family to us. I don't want him to think I'm mad or he's in trouble. Well, then express that to him. OP says, I'm going to try. I care about him a lot. He's a really good kid who has had a lot of tragedy in his life. Back up to the post, there's an update. Thank you for all of the advice, good and bad. I talked to my husband about it last night when he got home from work, and he had a giggle over it, but was very empathetic. He told me he knew Tommy had a crush on me, and he's seen the way that he looks at me when he thinks that no one's watching. He agrees that he doesn't mean any harm and is just a horny teen full of hormones, making dumb teen choices. He's planning on talking to him today about it after the training session. We both agree that we don't want him to think that we're mad about it or that he's in trouble. He just needs to understand that peeping isn't okay, and if he did sneak up to our bedroom, that is definitely not okay. We trust him, and we display that trust by giving him access to our home, but if he's going to betray that trust, we will take away his codes. I think that's a respectful way to go about this situation, and humiliation very much is a motivating factor in things like this, but if you value your relationship with this young man and the trust that you have built with him so far, that's fair enough that you will want to avoid that humiliation if you don't believe that this is so bad. To me, it's incredibly weird and incredibly creepy to be opening that door especially, and the fact that he just left it open after opening it in the first place, I don't know how to feel about that. That's incredibly odd. It's like he wanted you to know. The indirect route is all good if you want to, but that specific fact itself is like, oof. He might need a bit more pressure on him if he thinks it's okay to do things like that. Curious to see how you handle this one, OP. And now, on to the update. Hi everyone. First off, thank you all so much for the advice and different perspectives on my original post. It really helped me figure out how to handle this incredibly awkward situation. I took the advice of many of you and spoke to my husband about everything that night. He was incredibly understanding. He actually laughed at first and told me he already knew that Tommy has a massive crush on me. He joked that Tommy has good taste and that he'd seen the way Tommy looks at me when he thinks no one's watching. We were both on the same page when it came to the peeping. It wasn't malicious, it was just a horny teenager making some really dumb choices. However, he agreed that a line had definitely been crossed, especially with him potentially coming up to our bedroom. We decided that we would talk to Tommy the next day after their training session. Our goal wasn't to punish him or make him feel ashamed, but to make it clear that peeping is not okay and that entering our private space like that is a serious breach of the trust we have in him. So, my husband had the talk with him. Tommy was immediately honest and admitted everything. He confessed to watching me through the window and said he just likes looking at me. My husband didn't press him on the more rhythmic details, as we both agreed that part doesn't really matter. Regarding the bedroom door, Tommy admitted that he did come upstairs that day and saw me sleeping, but he said he felt weird and messed up about it and went right back downstairs. He seemed genuinely remorseful and understood he had crossed a major boundary and violated my privacy. He apologized sincerely to my husband and then came and apologized to me as well. My husband did a great job of reinforcing that we care about him a lot and that the trust that we show by giving him access to our home is a huge deal. He explained that breaking that trust would be devastating for all of us. Things are a little awkward right now, of course. Tommy's been pretty sheepish and quiet around me for the last couple of days. I'm just trying to act normal, and I'm hopeful that with a little time, things will go back to the way that they were. We trust the conversation was enough to get the message across. Thanks again, everyone, for helping me handle this. In the comments, Minsora says, I'm sorry, but I just couldn't have him in my house again after he'd watched me sleep. I'd find that frightening even if I was sure that he wouldn't do anything worse. He's 16, not 6. I get that Reddit has a habit of doing that not fully developed brain until 25 thing, but this isn't a small child just learning about the world. Yeah, I think planning just on a conversation to check what's going on was a good first move. Doors can creak open from wind, or the house settling, or sometimes we swear we did something when we didn't, and OP can't say definitively that the kid was watching even most of those times. Once he confessed, assuming the kid wasn't strong-armed into a false confession, I think should have come with revoking house access. He's figuring out where the lines are, and it can be good to reinforce those boundaries with natural consequences, like losing out on his extra income opportunity and free pool. The funniest part about this is that your brain continues to develop throughout your entire life. They just stopped measuring at 25. I actually stopped being friends with this chick when I was 23 because she was older than 27, and as such, would love to disregard any point that I make by pointing out that not only am I 23, meaning I had an underdeveloped brain, but I am a man, so her brain matures faster. Nothing you say could dispel it from this myth, so I stopped being friends with her. And you know what? Fair enough. I guess they handled the situation how they wanted to. If that's what they want to do, that's what they're gonna do, guys. I find it incredibly weird that he still has access to the house, and there weren't really any privileges taken away from him. There weren't really any consequences. I wouldn't be surprised if he were to start boundary pushing again in the future, testing those lines, seeing what else he can get away with. Thanks for the story, thanks for the update, OP. It's not what I would have done, but I respect your decision regardless. Our next post is by user OKExtension, and it's titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend that I'd rather be alone and suffer in my apartment than go with him to visit his mum? So I, 23 male, hate my boyfriend's, 24 male, family with a passion. I can't stand them. They are the most condescending, judgmental assholes that I've ever had the displeasure of knowing. It all started when I first met them. They talked about my looks and how I could improve it by losing weight, cutting my hair, and stop eating like a pig. I'm 188 centimeters tall and 80 kilograms. I go to the gym a lot, and I would consider myself fit. They have shit on my job because they think that I'm not good enough to be a doctor and that I work too much. His mother is the one that says all of this, and the rest agree with her. It's gotten to the point where I'm dreading every birthday, Christmas, or any other celebration because I have to see them again. My boyfriend's told them to stop, but they always say that I'm too sensitive and need to relax. Last time I met them, they told my boyfriend that he should dump me and find a man that's better for him. I was sitting next to him when it happened. So his mum got into an accident and had to go to the hospital that I'm working at, and my boyfriend told me to help her and make sure that she gets the best care. I told my co-workers, and they assured me that I can't be on her case and that I wouldn't need to be near her at all. My boyfriend and his family begged me that I should visit her and make sure that she's okay on my break, and I refused. I said that I'd rather be alone in my apartment and suffer than to visit his mum with him or without him. I can't fucking stand that woman. Him and his family have been messaging me non-stop, telling me that I'm a bad doctor for not wanting to help a patient. But the thing is, she's not my patient. So am I the arsehole? Edit. In Sweden, it's 5 years of med school. Then you become an intern, I think it's called in the US. After you're done with that, you can specialize in whatever field you like. I'm working in a surgical hospital, and I started my studies half a year before I turned 17. In the comments, BearCub15 says, "Not the arsehole. His family sounds awful, and I don't blame you. Your problem, though, is really with your boyfriend. He should not be allowing them to treat you this way, or at least never make you be around them. You may want to reevaluate this relationship." OP replies, "We have had countless conversations about this, and he agrees with me and has told them off. I have also said that if our relationship is going to work, he needs to accept that I won't ever be near his family. Now that he's been calling and texting non-stop to visit his mother, just me, after all the things she said, I told him what we have talked about before. That being said, I am a doctor and I do have obligations, but my obligations are not to her. I can't be a doctor to someone that I have personal connections to. My co-workers have told me that she's been bad-mouthing me to them, so there's no way in hell that I'm visiting that woman." Queen of Wasps says, "She's not your patient. Besides, often a doctor won't look after family members because it's much harder and awkward. Besides, apparently being a doctor isn't good enough for your partner's family, but sure is now, huh? Yeah, fucking 23 years old and a doctor, but that's not good enough? Clearly this family is impossible to please. Why even try? Not the arsehole. You have zero obligation to cater to her. She's been vile, and your boyfriend is allowing it by not putting his foot down. Him even asking you to show her kindness when she refuses to do the same shows his priorities and lack of backbone. Not the asshole, but I don't think this relationship will last long. Sorry to say. Yeah, I don't understand why your partner is trying to force this on you when he realizes the obvious double standard, but he expects you to cater to her whims anyway. Oh no, I'm not good enough, I'll never be good enough for your son. I'm gonna constantly be condescending and judgmental towards him. He doesn't look good enough, he needs to cut his hair, stop eating like a pig. You're also not good enough to be a doctor, and you work too much. Oh my god, this boyfriend needs to dump you. He needs to find a better man than literally like someone that is a pinnacle of man right now. No, you don't understand. No one could ever be good enough for our baby boy. I don't know how your relationship is going to proceed with you refusing to go look after his mum after she's been such a monumental piece of shit to you. I would hope that he sees common sense, that he recognizes how bad she's been and that it's okay for you to refuse to go visit her because you don't like her. But some people will always put family above their partner, and that's understandable. It's okay to do that sometimes. Maybe it's not the right thing to do. It's okay to do that, you're allowed to, but the consequence of that choice will be your partner losing faith in you, your partner losing trust in you, your partner probably dumping you one day if you keep putting your family above the needs and wants of your partner. Especially when those needs and wants are not within reason and you're obviously doing something your partner does not like. Yes, I think he's asking to be dumped, so I hope he sees reason soon, because he will be seeing the door if he doesn't. And now, on to update 1. So I thought I would give you guys an update, but before that, thank you all for the kind words and support. His mum was fine. She was not in danger at all. My colleagues told me how much shit she talked about me and how much better he could do than some wannabe doctor. I was fuming. She and her family had been begging me to visit her, and she was still talking shit about me. So I went to her room demanding to know what her problem was. Well, she didn't like me because I am, in her words, too masculine to be with her son, and he needs to find someone that's not. I told my boyfriend, and he was mad at first, but kind of agreed with her and told me that it wouldn't hurt me to try being less mask. All I said was that if he's trying to make me change who I am, then there's no reason to be with me anymore. He told me that's not what he wanted and that he loves me. So I told him, like many of you did, that if he wants me, then he needs to go low contact with her, and I'm going to go full no contact. He told me that it's not fair and I was being unreasonable. I had made my choice though, and in the end, we broke up. To be honest, I'm not even heartbroken. I have my job, good friends, and a family that loves me. I've gotten texts from him telling me that he misses me, but I've just ignored them. In the end, I'm happy, I think, and it's for the better. Edit, I just want to say once again, thank you. To be honest, it's good to hear from strangers that I'm not overreacting, and not a coward that's running away when things get hard. I really loved him, but the dude has big mummy issues. And because of his mum, I realized that I can't deal with a guy that can't put me first. I'm already working my ass off, and I can't be bothered to feel like shit after work. Update 2. I broke up with my ex 3 months ago because of his mother, and he is now willing to go no contact with her and wants me back. This dude's family has treated me like shit. I was never good enough. I was in their eyes a wannabe doctor that shouldn't be one, and they felt sorry for my patients. They wanted me to be less masculine because they wanted my ex to be the man. I told him that if he wanted me in his life, then he needed to go low contact with her and accept that I would go full no contact with her. He didn't want that and we broke up. He showed up at the hospital that I work at, waited for me to get off my shift, as when we were together, he got my schedule so we could see each other and wanted to talk. He told me he missed me and that his mother realized that it would be good to have a doctor in the family and that my boyfriend was an idiot to break up with me. He told me he was done with her shit and that we should be together again. Honestly, I was too tired. I just worked a 15-hour shift and was planning a nice date with my bed. I didn't think I missed him because of the shit that he put me through, but I don't know. I don't want it to go back to how it was, and I've had hate in my heart for him since we broke up. I don't know where I'm going with this, to be honest. I was going to sleep, but this has been on my mind since I got home. Just had to get this off my chest. Edit, I am a man. Update 3. Can't change the title, so before my actual update, I want to clarify some things. His mother is a nightmare to be near. She's talked shit about me in front of me, made fun of my appearance, told me to stop eating like a pig, and that no one wants a pig in the family. Has told my ex that he could find someone better than some wannabe doctor and stuff like that. I will never ever let someone talk to me like that, and that's why I wanted him to be low contact and me no contact. So here's the actual update. I talked to him yesterday. I asked him if he was really willing to go no contact with her, and he changed the subject time and time again. I asked him why he told me what his mother said about me being the doctor in the family, and he couldn't answer that either. I told him to leave, and that we would continue the conversation tomorrow, which is today. I saw him after work today. I got off at 1 and saw him at 3. I told him that if he couldn't answer any of my questions honestly, then it wasn't even worth trying. So he told me what I believe was half of the truth. He said that he regretted everything, but his mother was right. Should have ended it there. I can't be the one that acts as the man between us and says that it undermines him. He told me he can't go full no contact with her because that's his mother. He told me I was childish for breaking up with him over some comments that she made, and told me that it won't happen again and that he won't let it happen. I asked him why he came back only after his mother told him that it would be good to have a doctor in the family, even though she didn't think I was a good one. He only said it's true and it's good to have one. At that point, I was fed up. I'm tired, work long hours, and coming back to that headache was not worth it. I told him that I am a man and that he is one too. I told him that's not how a relationship works between two men and that he will always be a mama's boy. I will not tolerate being talked down to or feel belittled over their internalized homophobia. I told him that any man/woman that he might date or wants to date him can go through with that problem, but it won't be me. He begged and told me that it would make him happy if we tried and that his mother could change. No. Just no. I want to be with someone that loves me for me and won't let their mother's hate make me feel like a failure and a bad person. I won't. I'm not dating their mother. I told him to not bother contacting me again and that I'm officially done with him now and forever. Thanks to all of you. You guys gave good advice and made things clearer, and I hope all of you achieve great things in life. Update 4. Ex-mother-in-law strikes again. My former boyfriend and I broke up because of his mother, and I haven't heard from him for a couple of months. Thank God. His mother came to my door demanding that I take him back, as he's blaming her for breaking us up and that he barely talks to her nowadays. She demanded I take him back as she wants him to start talking to her again. I burst out laughing in her face for about 4 minutes, and I couldn't stop, which made her even more angry. I closed the door in her face and got ready to go to work. This woman followed me to work and again demanded that I take her son back, and I just continued laughing in her face. In the end, I told her to fuck off and that she had made her bed and she can rot in it. She looked stunned, as I don't usually talk back to her, because I didn't want to upset my ex, and I told her if she continued to harass me, I would go to the police. She seemed to back off after that threat. Good riddance. Update 5. Ex-mother-in-law strikes again. So the devil has shown herself again, but this time with her son. To be completely honest, I'm still laughing my ass off. My ex and ex-mother-in-law showed up today. My ex told me that his mother said that I'm willing to take him back and that we could finally live a good life together again. I fucking lost it. I laughed at both of them, told them both that they were delusional to think that I would even consider having any type of a relationship with either of them. I told my ex that his mother lied and that he knew why I would never in a million years take him back. He looked at his mum and yelled at her, and I just looked at her with a smirk on my face. His mother then started yelling homophobic shit like, "This would never have happened if you just stopped acting like a man," and I lost it laughing again. Ex-mother-in-law even tried to attack me, but luckily, for her, her son held her back and they left. I later got a call from a mutual friend that said my ex would make sure his mum wouldn't bother me anymore. I have him blocked. All in all, I'm happy, and this has been so fun. I hope they both live miserable lives together. In the comments, so what? Is his mum only okay with her son being gay if he's the top in the relationship? A true Roman citizen. I bet if his ex did get with a twink, she'd try to insist that he'd be better off with a non-binary or trans person than a tomboy, than this nice girl from her office or church, always moving the goalposts closer and closer to heterosexuality. Yeah, very interesting that she's fine with him being gay, but not if he's like the bottom gay. He's gotta be the top, and we gotta make upgrades from there, son. You know, you cannot be the verse bottom in this top doctor-dominated relationship. I will not have you being topped by a doctor. That is beneath you. And in fact, he should be beneath you. Wearing a wig and being more like a woman. Like, I don't get it. Maybe Callie writing that last comment does have a point that she is trying to move the goalposts closer and closer to heterosexuality. Demanding that OP gets back with him, but you have to be more of a woman this time, okay? I'll make concessions, but only if they're womanly. I don't understand the logic. You know, maybe they will be happier together with their weird little relationship those two have got going on. They certainly both have no respect for OP, so they will not be having OP in their life. Welcome to consequences. Isn't that so crazy? Anyway, that's my take on the situation. I'd love to know what you guys think of this one. Down in the comments below, let me know. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.